October the 8th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum, and has this been properly advertised?
It has.
All right, I'll ask everyone if you would please turn your phones off or on silent so that we don't have that interruption during the meeting at this time. And Magistrate Cullen will be video teleconferencing and voting under KRS 61.826. And he was on the screen. And also, County Attorney Chris Aaron will be video teleconferencing as well to offer any advice that we might need. So good morning, gentlemen. Thank you all for zooming in this morning. All right, call to order. Invocation this morning is Magistrate Sleeper, please.
All right, thank you. Shall we pray?
Thank you.
Lord God, we praise you and we thank you for the many blessings, and we, Lord, ask that you would make us ever mindful that you have made us all with dignity and worth, and we ask for guidance and wisdom from you this day, that every decision that is made will be righteous. And Lord, we ask that you be with those who are presenting with us today. We thank you for their concern and involvement and participation in the life of our community. Lord, we ask that you be with those who are keenly suffering the devastation from the storms that have ravaged so much of our land. We ask that you watch over and bless those who are attempting to bring relief and recovery to them. Lord, watch over and protect those who watch over and protect us, our servicemen and women and our first responders. And Lord, we would ask that you provide your grace and peace and comfort to the families and friends, and to all of those who mourn the loss of those killed in the air evac helicopter crash last evening, and also for those mourning the loss of Judge Jeff Dotson. Lord, we pray for the safety of those in the path of Milton, and we ask, Lord God, all these things in the almighty and all-sufficient name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Master Sleeper. All right, at this time we have a special guest. We have Jaden Plumman. Jaden, will you stand? And he is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. He is the son of Elena Plumman, our finance officer, and Cameron Clem. You all will stand. And Jaden, on your cue, we're ready.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Jaden, I have a certificate for you. A certificate of recognition in leading the Pledge of Allegiance to the Boyle County Fiscal Court. Can we step out there and get a picture? Okay. All right, you hold your certificate and look at Miss Julie right here. Ready? There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, that was great. Okay, we will approve our prior meeting minutes, September the 24th. Have a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Magistrate Gates, or a second?
Second.
Magistrate Bodner, any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Okay, now we will approve our budget transfers.
I'm going to do cash transfers first.
Cash first, okay. Let me rearrange my papers. All right.
I have a cash transfer from the new money market account to the general fund for $500,000. And then I have interfund cash transfers, $20,000 to the jail from the general fund, $100,000 to EMS from the general fund, and $2,000 to the fleet account from the general fund.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the cash transfers?
Make a motion.
Magistrate Harmon, is there a second?
Second.
Magistrate Sleeper, any discussion? All those in favor of approving the cash transfers signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Budget transfers?
Budget transfers, I have a total of $3,132.48 in budget transfers.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the budget transfers.
I'll make that motion.
Magistrate Gay, is there a second?
Second.
Magistrate Sleeper, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. Approve the bills. Miss Elaine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All Today's bill packet that you should have in your packets is going to total $1,223,499.19, and there are no last minute add-ons.
All right.
All right.
Motion to approve the bills?
I make a motion, we approve the bills as presented.
Magistrate Gay, is there a second?
Second.
Magistrate Bodner, any discussion on the bills? Questions, comments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
All right, now inside of these bills is one for Cope's Complete Floor Care, and this is the gentleman who cleaned all of the ducts in the ventilation system for the courthouse. When this was originally quoted, it was under $10,000, but when he got inside of there and actually got the job done, he was extremely thorough, and it took more time. It was a bigger job than what was expected. So we ended up incurring $3,700 more. So that put us a little bit over the $10,000 mark. I just need your all's approval specifically to pay this bill as well.
To pay the coat cleaning
To pay
bill.
the coat cleaning bill as well.
Move to pay the bill.
Magistrate Harmon, second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion? The whole courthouse has now been cleaned. I'll just add that on. The ducts, the air ducts have been cleaned. If anybody would like to see the before and after pictures, we have those available. They were nasty, to say the least. I don't know how long it's been since they were cleaned, but we want to make sure everybody's breathing fresh air, and the air quality had kind of diminished, and now we're back up to good air quality. So just want everybody to know that, and that's why it took a little longer. He expected it to take 2 weeks. It took a month for him to get from the 3rd floor down to the 1st floor and into the basement. So the basement has been done as well. So very thorough cleaning. We appreciate the job that he done. So, all right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we have a couple of items of old business and the joint jail restricted account discussion, and I believe Julie's gonna lead us in that.
Well, I would ask that we postpone this discussion until we have a meeting to finalize the bonding history. So I would like to hold this until the next meeting.
Okay. All right. So we will just strike that from the agenda. All right. How about the Humane Society agreement?
Okay. Do you want to lead this?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, Magistrate Slater.
Make a motion that we take that off the table.
Okay.
We have
Do you have a
Animal
second?
Control Committee, I'm sorry. go ahead.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to take the item of business off the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Discussion.
The Animal Control Committee met, and our recommendation is that since we're in the middle of a current fiscal year, that we'll wait and we'll consider it during the budget process of our coming budget year. And we also, during that time, Shelter Director Delbridge will be monitoring the food and the medication expenses and see if it's necessary to make such an adjustment. And so we recommend we work under our current agreement with the Humane Society.
Okay, because we have started a new budget year, and obviously some of the things that were in this amended agreement were not part of our current budget for the next year. So, all right, don't think we need a motion for that. We're just going to continue during continue with our current agreement. Everybody okay with that? All right. Good deal. Thank you. Okay, new business. I have asked former Magistrate Jack Hendricks to be here today. Jack was recently inducted into the Kentucky Veteran Hall of Fame. So, yay! And everybody knows Jack was a magistrate. Jack served in the military, and it's a great honor for us to have you with us today. And I would just like for you to just tell a little bit about the ceremony and what it means to you to be inducted into the Kentucky Hall of Fame.
Well, to say the least, Judge and Magistrates, it's quite an honor. It's not something that, that I look for. I've been a veterans advocate here for 30 years now, and that's what's important, to bring our veterans' issues to the forefront. So this is quite an honor. I mean, there's only about 200 out of the hundreds of thousands in Kentucky that's been given this honor. So I'm in with quite an elite group, and I'm proud to say that it was a great ceremony. Magistrate Sleeper came up, and along with a couple of city officials also. And
There's some pictures we have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
Jack, I put the one with your wife on there, but it doesn't seem to reproduce, so I'm not sure what happened.
Maybe it's because it's a rose next to a thorn. She wanted to come up today naturally, but she couldn't make it. She's been ill for the last couple of months and not doing very well, but she did make it up to that ceremony on her willpower. None of the things that I've done could have been done without her. I tell you, we've been married 66 years now, and it's one of those things that I couldn't have done none of the things we've done here, like the Veterans Wall of Honor, the pictures on the wall over there, those type things, without her backing me up. So she's been a partner in this all along, as well as a lot of veterans, as well as the Fiscal Court and the City Commission. I spoke to the city a week or so ago when they had me up, and that's one thing that the city and county have worked together on since 2001, is that memorial. It's taken all of the court, all of the city, all of the other veterans, a lot of other people involved, not just me. So it's not a one-man show. There's been a lot of help along the way. If it hadn't been for the court, back when I first brought that project to the court in 2001, backed it 100% and has ever since. Most people know that memorial is located on county property and has been protected through a deed, so it'll be there in perpetuity, hopefully. It's just been great. The city does a lot also. They take care of the flowers. They're the ones that actually signed the lease, because we had to have something to do with the incorporated city signing the lease for the Army. But it's been a long road. It's been a happy one. I've enjoyed doing this, and this was just the icing on the cake. It's kind of like looks like a medal of Olympic medal or something. But it means a lot more to me than an Olympic medal would to me, because of the fact it's to help veterans, and that's what we stand for, and that's what we want to do. And it brings everything to the forefront when we have somebody. Now, we've only had one other person in Boyle County ever inducted into Hall of Fame, and that's General Hunt, former Judge General Hunt. So we've got two now from Boyle County, and him and I are going to try to make sure we have someone from this area every year from now on going into the Hall of Fame.
That's
because
great.
It's something to recognize veterans for what they've done. And we've got some of the biggest stories. Most people never hear them, but there's a lot of stories from veterans in this county that most people wouldn't believe. One particular vet got shot 7 times in Vietnam, got hit with an RPG, spent 17 months in the hospital, and he helped a lot on that wall. Passed away now, but there's stories like that out there that you just wouldn't believe in our veteran community. And now down at the VFW, I'm proud to announce that we are doing things down there that most people don't understand or don't know about, put it that way. It's not just a place to go smoke and drink and talk about war stories now. We are averaging about $15,000 a month being donated to different community projects, mostly concerning veterans or helping veterans or things of that nature. We're getting ready to make a sizable donation to North Carolina and down in that area through the VFW. This is a national VFW program that we're doing to help the victims of hurricane, and unfortunately it looks like they got another one coming in behind it. So, but Judge told me to keep it short, so I'll try to do that. I can't do that sometimes, but you know, especially with this honor, thank you all for inviting me up. I appreciate it. The recognition is great. but just remember, it's all for veterans. That's what we're all about.
Well, Jack, we are
Here.
proud of all of our veterans, but we're especially proud of you
Thank
because
you.
you're our people and you've been here and you know what it means to sit
Yep.
at these tables
Yep.
and to do county business, and so we're very proud of you. I also want to recognize Phil Salmons is with us today in the crowd. Phil, will stand. Thank you both for your service.
Phil's a former magistrate, as we all
Yes,
know, as
yes.
well as a veteran, and served in Korea, so we served together on the court and helped get some of these things done, but if it hadn't been for the court, city commission, and all the other volunteers, I couldn't have got all this done. It's not a one-man show. It takes a lot of people. So, like they say, it takes a village. And in Danville, Kentucky, that's what we've got. We've got Boyle County and Danville, Kentucky is the best place in the world. It's the reason I'm born and raised here. Know every street, corner around, every hiding place from when I was a kid. So anyway, thank you all very much for asking me to come up. It's been great, and I'm really proud of the honor.
Well, congratulations and thank you for your service, both of you. And we'd like to get a picture
Oh, okay.
with the court.
Judge, I'd just like to add that I'd like, if you haven't seen the Veterans Memorial Park, you ought to go by and just walk through it.
Yes.
Thank the county, the
Thank you.
Jack's done a wonderful job.
We got 1,678 names on there now. Boyle County, all Boyle County.
You're perfect, Barry.
Is he
Get you in.
perfect?
I'll get
Barry-
you in.
Barry's perfect.
Barry's perfect. Look out. Look out, Barry.
We knew that,
Perfect.
Barry.
Good job, Jack.
Thank you.
Oh, good, Jason's in it too now.
Oh.
Jason, move your hand, there you go.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
About time you showed up.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you very much. I appreciate you, sir.
I'm
Have a good one.
Thanks, Jack.
Coffee with you on that.
Bring my jacket with you, Phil. You're going to buy coffee, by the way. Thanks for coming up. Thanks to me.
Jack promised me to buy my breakfast, and now it's time to turn out for me to buy coffee.
You all have a great day.
See you later.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, November the 8th, we're having the Veterans Day.
Oh, yes, go ahead and
Well,
announce
you're
that.
all invited. Come on out and help out, have some food.
At the Armory.
At the Armory.
Okay, November 8th.
11 o'clock.
Okay,
starts.
thank you. All right, next we have some proclamations, and the first one is the 2024 Extension Homemakers Week proclamation, and we have 3 ladies here that are representing Boyle County Homemakers. There are 4 clubs, I believe you told me, in Boyle County, and so these ladies are recognizing those clubs. If you all will stand, I'll read the proclamation, and then I'll present it to you all at the end. Thank you. Whereas the Kentucky Extension Homemakers Association Incorporated has over 11,000 members in more than 700 clubs throughout the Commonwealth, and whereas this organization is dedicated to improving the quality of life for families and communities through education, leadership development, and volunteer service, and whereas this organization has worked to achieve this mission for over 90 years, providing service in communities across Kentucky, and whereas this organization continues to endeavor to strengthen, develop, coordinate, and extend adult education in family and consumer sciences in cooperation with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And whereas the members of the Boyle County Extension Homemakers Association completed more than 8,000 hours of volunteer service in 2023 and 2024. Outreach efforts this year include, but not limited to, collecting and distributing donations for local charities, sewing and crafting projects for the hospital, and more. Now therefore, I, Judge Trilly Bottom, Boyle County Judge Executive, and the Boyle County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim October 13th through the 19th of 2024 as Kentucky Extension Homemakers Week, and urge all citizens to participate in Extension Homemakers activities in their communities, done at the Boyle County Fiscal Court meeting in the city of Danville this 8th day of October in the year of our Lord 2024. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Magistrate Ellis, is there a second?
Second.
Magistrate Bowden. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. If you all will introduce yourselves, and if you want to tell anything about homemakers, feel free to do that.
My name is Martha Thornton. I am the president of the Boyle County Homemakers. We are having a tasting party come October the 15th, and y'all are all welcome to come.
Is that at the Extension District?
It's at the Extension Office.
Okay.
yes.
All right, thank you.
Toby Derman. I'm the county secretary,
Okay.
and I got a lot of those volunteer hours. I do a lot of the volunteer work.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Homemakers is really good.
And she loves it.
Yes, yes, obviously. Yeah.
I'm Teresa Goggin, president of Lancaster Road Homemakers, and it's a fun activity.
Yeah.
If it weren't for homemakers, I would be bored. I wouldn't know what to do.
And they do take mailbox members if anybody wants to be a
That's
member.
right. If
Yeah.
any of you, men and women.
Yes,
Well, I'm
absolutely.
taking a class Monday night. I'm going to come out there and make a rug.
Cool.
So,
Right.
yeah, Halloween rug.
Good deal.
So if you all will come forward, I'll present you with this proclamation and we'll get another photo. You all hold it, yeah. Yeah, you all hold that. I'll just stand
okay.
with you, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you all, congratulations, yeah, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
ma'am.
being here.
Thanks
Yeah,
to
appreciate it.
everybody.
Awesome.
You all have a great day.
Well, thank you. You all too.
Thank you, thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Okay, next is Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2024. Whereas breast cancer is a significant health concern affecting millions of individuals and families worldwide. Whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness about the importance of early detection, treatment, and support for those affected by breast cancer. And whereas we recognize the strength and resilience of individuals and families impacted by breast cancer and honor those who have lost their lives to this disease. Whereas by coming together as a community, we can make a meaningful difference in the lives of those affected by breast cancer. Now therefore, I, Boyle County Judge Executive Trilly Bottom and the Boyle County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I urge all citizens to show their support by participating in awareness events, promoting education, and supporting efforts to advance research and treatment for breast cancer. Let us stand together in solidarity to raise awareness, offer support, and work toward a future free from the burden of breast cancer. Dated this 8th day of October. And if some of you may be aware, but the Advocate Messenger had an insert that is devoted entirely to breast cancer. And we know that October is Wear Pink Month, so I get to wear my favorite color all month long in recognition of breast cancer. So you can go to the Advocate Messenger, but they have a whole segment here for awareness of breast cancer. And we just want to remember those that have lost their lives to this dreaded cancer. Is there a motion to approve this proclamation? Master Bowler.
Second.
Second by Master Gay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Don't forget to wear your pink this month. All right, the third and last proclamation is World Mental Health Day 2024. Whereas mental health is an essential component of overall well-being and it affects individuals, families, and communities worldwide. Whereas World Mental Health Day provides an opportunity to raise awareness about mental health issues, reduce stigma, and promote understanding and support for those affected by mental health conditions. Whereas it is crucial to advocate for accessible mental health services, resources, and support systems for individuals in need. Whereas we recognize the resilience and strength of individuals living with mental health conditions and honor those who have worked tirelessly to improve mental health care and support. Whereas by coming together as a global community, we can make a meaningful difference in promoting mental well-being and addressing mental health changes. Now therefore, I, Boyle County Judge Executive Trilly Bottom and the Boyle County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim October the 10th, 2024 as World Mental Health Day in Boyle County. I urge all citizens to show their support by participating in awareness events, promoting education, and advocating for improved mental health services and resources. And I think we have a wonderful mental health care here in Boyle County. There are lots of resources for those that are suffering from mental health issues, and I just think that shout out to them, because it's wonderful that we can have those resources available. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Magistrate Sleeper, is there a second? Second. Magistrate Bodnar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next is the Shepherd's House, and we have a SAP Jail Bed Agreement. Julie, are you carrying that?
No, I brought the
Brian?
IOP.
Brian? Brian, we're ready for the SAP Jail Bed Agreement.
Okay, so I'm sorry, did you intentionally skip number 11 on the agenda?
Yeah, he pulled out.
That's been tabled.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
okay.
My number 11 is Shepherd's House.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
sorry.
old agenda was
On the
Okay.
the
email.
surveyor on Alum Springs, and it was
Oh, I
explained in an
apologize.
email to you.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah. My number 11 is Shepherd's House.
Okay.
I know he called me and said he was not
Yeah,
presenting today,
yeah.
so I knew that
It
was
was a minor
Okay,
snafu.
all right.
Okay. Sorry.
All right,
All right, so first one's the SAP Bed Agreement.
yes.
I'm here to ask you all to consider going ahead and signing that and keeping Shepherd's House. They're consistently at 100 or 98 on their evaluations by the Department of Corrections. You know, it doesn't really cost the county any money. That money comes through from the state, pays us to provide that program. So that program, when they graduate there, those are the ones that go out and do our inmate work crew. And then at night, James Hunn works with them on the re-entry. So my recommendation is we continue our agreement. Nothing's changed in it. The money's the same as it's always been.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion?
Yes, I guess on this, so is this is 100% paid for by the state?
Yes. So the money we receive from the state, so it was $8, then in COVID, they bumped it up $2 more, or $3 more. I think it was $8, yeah, $2 more. So now they receive $10, and that money, so basically for every 20 inmates, they have to have a, what level? So we have 40, so they pay for the 2 bachelor level counselors.
Okay. So if we no longer accept state inmates in our jail, does that change our SAP program?
Well, that means, yes, we wouldn't have a SAP program.
Okay. So that's where I guess part of my question comes back to is this, how much does it cost the county to provide SAP beds?
Well, they pay us the $35.64 a day, and then to house the inmates, then we get $10 on top of that to cover the SAP program.
So $45.
Brian has asked me to do a study on what the financials would look like with and without the state. So as soon as we get through this audit, that's my next
Okay.
And they're
thing, is to
actually
try to
waiting on
figure
me
that
now
out.
too, to my exit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I mean, I don't mind renewing this now, but I do think there's a very real possibility that we need to strongly consider whether we're going to continue to house state inmates moving forward, because I just think unless the state steps up and pays their fair share, it's cost prohibitive for the county to continue to foot that bill.
And like I say, with the, we've won the summary judgment on our lawsuit, and I think it will, you know how state works, it's not gonna happen today, but I think it'll take a couple of years, and I think counties will start seeing a benefit from that lawsuit, so.
And I just want to add that this agreement is in effect beginning the first day of December. So we're doing this a little early just to go ahead and get it done and be ready to go. So
And if something changes, we can always come back.
yes, we have a 15-day written notice, so can easily opt out if we choose to. Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
And I will just add one thing on that as well. So if we do end up, and it's not cost effective for the county to house state inmates, we will lose our inmate work program. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind too.
All right, next is our intensive outpatient program, also known as IOP.
Yes, so this is the Shepherd's House down by the health department. And was there a change in the amount?
Yes.
'Cause they had a.
Yes. We're proposing that the contract be written at $18,000 a month as opposed to $16,000. That makes them whole on their expenses.
That's a $2,000 increase.
Yes. So that's a big change. Some of the little minor details that you might want to know about is the insurance. They are double insured of what we require. We also put in the contract to ensure that they become accredited every year, which they do, but that's a little protection for us if that were to ever change, which I doubt it would. And then on Exhibit A, which is page 6, you'll see a schedule of homeless, houseless services. This is new to the contract. They are seeing about 15 people a day that require homeless, houselessness services. So what I've put in here is in the next budget cycle, we consider a line for homeless services. That way, if they do not receive a grant, we can chip away at some of those expenses that right now they're covering it all. But I think it is going to be a great way for us to track the homeless, what their needs are. So we did add that to this contract, and I believe that's the changes.
And I want to add, so for the new magistrates, of course, we wouldn't be where we're at, I don't think, in this community as far as treatment if it wasn't for Barry Harmon and his foresight when he was jailer to, when they were going to close down the Red Cross, to say, hey, we want that building, and talk the fiscal court into getting that building and adding IOP. So the reason that started was, if you remember a few years ago, pre-COVID, we were running 400 plus inmates. And this is a cheaper way, because a lot of inmates, they don't need to be in jail, they need to be in treatment. So this was basically, instead of treating the symptom, we were going after the cause. And I think now you can look at our numbers at the jail and all the others, it's a big difference. So if Barry hadn't seen, I'll brag on him a little bit, but if he hadn't had that foresight to do that, I don't think we would be where we're at today. I'm running about 158 right now consistently on our numbers. You know, Chris Herring does a great job, especially with the judges, making sure folks get into IOP treatment. The judges, make sure they're getting released to go to treatment. So that's keeping our numbers down, and we're not having to feed them, house them, pay their medical and all that. So it's still a big savings to the fiscal court on what you would be spending if we had to house all these folks at the jail. So I'm going to recommend that we continue that agreement as well.
Okay, do our Shepherd's House representatives like to say anything?
Only that we appreciate your guys' support. We love being in this community. We love providing those services. That's what we do. That's our mission, is to provide substance use disorder treatment. And you know, I was born and raised here, and prior to the Shepherd's House coming here, I had to travel an hour to work every day. I've done that for 8 years because there was no treatment services. There was nowhere to work in Boyle County if you were a drug and alcohol counselor like myself. So I'm very grateful that we, as a community, have became more accepting, and we have pulled together to provide this essential service. Because people are dying every day from this disease. It's a horrible, and it's ravaging families, and so I'm just grateful to be a part of it, and we thank you guys so much. And our new homeless initiative project that we are partnering with United Way and the fiscal court with, I think that's a beautiful thing. We are getting homeless people in our building. We are providing them with case management. We're trying to make sure they have insurance so they can take care of any physical health needs or mental health needs. We're trying to hook them up with housing, food insecurity, and I think one of the greatest things is, for example, we had a homeless gentleman come in. He had been living on the streets for 3 years here in Boyle County, and after he came and took a shower and done his laundry with us a couple times, and we just loved on him and encouraged him. He's now enrolled in our IOP program. He's free from substances. We managed to come together with some donations. We got him a camper. We got it moved to Pioneer Playhouse. So he is off the streets. He has housing, and he is attending treatment every day and doing great. So we hope that's kind of the vision for that homeless initiative, is that we can continue doing just that.
You know, that's the thing, homelessness, mental health, substance abuse issues, they all run together.
Yeah.
And if we had to take a full approach on all three of those, not just on the substance abuse issues as well, so.
Well, and I'll add to that, during our last storm that we had the power outage for 24 hours. A mother reached out to me via Facebook Messenger and said that her daughter had a young infant and her electricity had been off. She had lost all the food in her refrigerator, and where could she go? So we turned to United Way. United Way sent us to Shepherd's House, and the mother was able to go there and pick up food for the daughter and the infant. And so it's just, we're blessed that we have these resources in our community, because not every county is able to do this, So I just thank you for what you do, and thank you for being able to provide those services during that time.
You all need to buy Magistrate Harmon a cake or something, because we wouldn't be here.
I know. So we may have to have a building renaming.
I think that would be a great idea.
I think that would be a great idea too.
We need a motion to approve this IOP agreement.
I make the motion.
Magistrate Sleeper, is there a second? Magistrate Harmon.
Second.
Can I do one thing?
Yes.
On that agreement, can we put the choice of law? It says Franklin County. Can they change that to Boyle County?
Okay, what page is that, Attorney Herron?
I think it's on the last page.
Okay. I missed that.
It might not be on the last page. I don't have it opened up, but
Okay.
I noticed that.
County of Boyle, County of Boyle. Yes, we can, and we'll find it. I don't see it immediately. Looking at it, all I see is Boyle, but if we find a place that says Franklin, yes, we can change that, and we will change that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
It's on page 6.
Okay.
Point G.
Page 6.
G. Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
I don't have a G on mine.
Are y'all looking at the SAP contract instead of the IOP? Because we don't have a G on page 6.
Yeah, let me look.
We have Exhibit A on page 6, so which contract?
I went back to the wrong one.
I think they're looking at this.
Well, either contract is probably
Yeah,
the
I see
same.
it.
We'll find it.
Yes, okay, so that was on the SAP. Yeah, we will change that to Boyle Circuit Court.
That's on G on 6.
Yeah, I see that now, okay. Okay,
Real quick,
yes,
so Shepherd's House, just for people that are kind of new to what Shepherd's House is, just takes in essentially Boyle County citizens, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, our contract changed when we changed our jail agreement with Mercer County. When we were a joint jail, we were doing Mercer and Boyle inmates. So the only ones that we pay for out of my budget for the Shepherd's House IOP are Boyle County inmates.
Okay. I just want people to know that, we're raising this, and it's not like, Shepherd's House is just taking in anybody. They're just taking in our county citizens, correct?
Well, the original agreement when this first formed, that citizens of Boyle County can go there for help, and that way they would help them be placed into treatment. But they don't charge us for that, so that's just a service they provide. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Mercer County can still send inmates if they choose to.
But we don't.
But we don't pay for it. So they would have to be on
They would be
Mercer,
Mercer
County
County
inmates.
Yes.
But if a citizen just comes in and says, hey, I need help, I'm
Yes.
homeless, I'm dealing with substance abuse issues or substance issues, they will help them, and that's not charged as part of what we pay for. We're just paying for the ones that come out of the Boyle County Detention Center.
Correct.
That go into the IOP there.
And we own the building,
Yes.
and so when, like, so say Mercer County comes in, they pay Shepherd's House, and then do we receive any sort of compensation for that as part of this agreement, or no, just Shepherd's House gets the whatever?
And that would be
money
only
from
if there
outside
was
people?
room for them. You know, that would be
Yeah, I
only
understand.
if there was
And
beds available.
Then
I understand, I'm just
normally
asking
don't send us money.
if
It's
we're
not a-
fronting a lot of the upfront expenses on this, you know, is there back compensation if somebody's not from Boyle County?
Well, they just advise that Mercer normally doesn't send inmates. So they normally don't get any
But they
inmates.
can.
But they would have to pay for it, but they don't.
Okay, I guess the ask is maybe we look at, like, because, you know, the facilities are owned by Boyle County and stuff like that, that, you know, if, to help offset some of the costs that we have as well.
It's mainly gonna be Boyle County residents or Boyle County inmates.
Yes.
Majority will be Boyle County residents or Boyle County inmates.
Yeah, so the line item in my budget for the Shepherd's House IOP is just for Boyle County inmates, with the new agreement that we're no longer adjoining.
Okay, I guess we're talking past each other right here. That's what I understand the whole Boyle County part. I'm just saying that if we've given Shepherd's House a place to operate and they're utilizing it for outside Boyle County people, which is fine because we want mental health, we want homelessness, we want, you know, substance abuse for everybody. I'm just saying that, you know, taxpayers are paying for this building and other things in it. There may be a compensation that we need to think about, you know, just to cover the expenses that it costs to have that place.
Judge.
For anybody that goes there. It's not just that, you know, I mean, it should be in there already.
Judge.
Yes.
But now that we've split from Mercer.
I would ask Chris Herron if there is a way that we could have a separate fee that would come either through Shepherd's House or directly to us for any county that would be bringing someone in, because we do have overhead costs for that building, and I understand exactly.
I would just say, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My recommendation would be we just don't accept other people, like counties can't send inmates to over here. If the public walks in, they're living here, they're homeless, that's different, but I just say we
Don't accept
we
other
don't
county
accept other
inmates.
counties.
But every conversation about the public walking in has been that homeless person is anticipated to be a county resident, and oftentimes they are not. There are homeless people who are so transient that tomorrow we could easily have one walk
Well,
in.
then you gotta look at the issue. Do we want them to remain homeless here in Boyle County, or do we want to get them in and get them treatment?
And they're not gonna be able to pay.
Yeah, so I think we're better off just letting, if they're homeless and they're public walking in, to get the treatment so they don't remain homeless in our community and on substance abuse issues and mental health issues, that they're getting that, and then we just don't accept other county inmates. Or- yeah. I think that would be the easiest way
Shepherd's
to
House
do
is
it.
okay with that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's plenty of people that we feed here, so.
Right.
And if they're walking into our building and they're homeless, chances are they've settled themselves here, even if that is, like you said, they're transient, they're
Well, like
temporary, but-
the guy lived here 3 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
so,
All right, okay, I guess back to my point. How much does Shepherd's House charge somebody that's not a Boyle County citizen for treatment or whatever? Let's break down the numbers then.
They don't.
we don't.
Okay.
But most of our clients are Boyle County residents. People who are in active addiction don't really have transportation. It would be very hard for someone from Lincoln County, Casey County to get here every day for our services. And that's essentially one of the main reasons why probably 99% of our clients are Boyle County residents, because like I said, people who are in active addiction, they don't really have the ability to get somewhere every day, travel 30 minutes for treatment services, that sort of thing. So if we do have someone who calls and says, hey, I'm looking for help, or, you know, and they are from a surrounding county, most of the time we'll get our case manager to find them services in their own county, because that's really all that they can do. So we will look for them an inpatient somewhere, or look for them an outpatient in their county so that they can actually get there and attend those services.
And, you know, here's the thing to remember too, when this started, there was nothing like this. I mean, we created the wheel on this one. Now, 6-8 years later, there's one almost on every corner. So there's some kind of treatment center. So when the fiscal court started this, there was nothing like this in Boyle County, or in the surrounding, probably in the state.
Mr. Harmon, would you like to comment anything on this?
They're doing a good job. They've been through the knocks and everything. You hit obstacles that you don't expect. And I hope we got everything out of the way for Jailer Woodford. You know, he got a wife now, you got to take care of full time. The daughter left. But Brian has picked it up and run with the ball on that. And Tanner's come along and been active. I haven't got to really work any with him, but you got to be good. If you're sitting by Tanner, you got to be good.
All right, so any other discussion on the IOP? That's what we are approving. All right.
Just to triple verify, because I heard we usually don't. So there is no one else outside of Boyle County people coming to the facility that we're paying for, correct?
Correct.
We're paying Shepherd's House a contract, okay?
Correct.
Because I heard we usually don't, and you know, we try not to, or whatever. That wasn't like we don't.
I think
We're
it
just looking
got.
for firm
I think what got mixed up was that
conversations.
from where you all used to be partners with them,
Yeah.
you know, that's what we've had to realign. And so I think in our previous discussions of how many you used to get, it was just a few
From Mercer.
from Mercer, which wasn't a problem. So I think now that everything's split, we're okay splitting too. It's because it wasn't even a factor for us really.
Okay.
But you're still seeing the need to increase the cost with well, you said not many Mercer people were coming through anyway. Okay, never mind. That answered my own question.
You good?
Always.
All right. All right, I think we're ready to vote at this time on, we have a motion on the floor to approve the IOP agreement with Shepherd's House. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Judge, if it's okay with Katina, I'll come back and sign the 2 contracts. The auditors are waiting on me to do my exit interviews.
That's perfectly fine.
I'll come back.
Okay, I got time. All right, next up, we have Parks and Rec Director Tommy Barton. Going to talk to us about pickleball.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Obviously, we are here to discuss the feasibility study of pickleball. We jointly produced from our Bear Becker. But before we talk about that, I would just like to ask the court if it's possible for Parks and Rec to be added to the agenda on a monthly basis for the near future, because we have several Parks and Rec discussions and actions needed in the future.
Do you want to come a certain meeting, like the first meeting or the second meeting?
I think it'd be, if I have it planned out, it would be the second meeting.
Second meeting of every month.
And just to inform you, we do have, I would like next month to talk about the joint participation agreement, which is the operation budgets for Millennium Park and Bunny Davis and Fitness that we all agreed on in 2020. That if you, I'm new, so I don't know if you guys were all sitting at that point.
No.
But that agreement is up in 2025. It was a 5-year contract we signed in 2020. So next month I'd like to kind of go over that with you, and then in December we will probably have our Bunny Davis pool rehab numbers, and we will also have asked them to look into indoor rec numbers, which are 2 things that were on our 10-year plan that was conducted in 2018 that And we also discussed those in March when we had our joint meeting. But as I will be the liaison between county and city as a joint agreement, and just, I want to keep you guys informed because you should have a voice and ownership in Parks and Rec, so.
I think that's a splendid idea,
Great,
so thank you.
great. So.
Given in my mind.
Yeah.
So in November 19th, I believe is a meeting, that would be the one I would be on, I think it's something like that, but
Okay.
we'll do the second one. So with that, we can get into the pickleball review. I don't know, are you gonna put it on the screen or?
We have it on our
We
screen.
have it.
Oh, you have it
Yeah,
on
we
your
have
screen.
it.
I can check with Tom here to make sure I'm on the same page. I had to print mine out separately, so I'm hoping they're all on the same page. But after the first page, the purpose of it was to, understand the potential locations for, as been requested, 12 pickleball courts, to explore the potential costs associated with the concepts and solicit input about preferred direction and locations from pickleball in Danville. With that said, they came up with 3 options. The first option is basically renovating existing courts. This would be your most financially less impactful, but this does include taking the current pickleball courts to the ground and building them back up. And that would be the pickleball courts at Bunny Davis and at Jackson Park. We have what they're calling the Muncy Park Pickleball Sports Hub, which we'll go over. That's the second option. And the third option we're calling the Promenade Pickleball Courts, located near the tennis courts. The request was to keep any new facilities on joint land owned by county and city. So if we look through the next page, we have the most cost effective is to redo what we already have. Obviously, we're going to resurface them, upgrade lighting. One of the benefits also, it's distributed through the community more. We do have a large association called the Danville Picklers, who they have requested to be together, but there is also, we have center students that like to play pickleball, we have junior high kids, we have high school kids, and then we just have your random getting into pickleball. So spreading them out might be good for that. But the constraints on this would hurt tournaments that we had 2 separate sites of the 12. Another constraint would be we do not have lighting at Jackson Park. We are limited in parking at both spots, Bunny Davis and Jackson Park. There are no permanent restrooms at Jackson Park, and currently none of those courts are covered. And in this plan, as I said, this is your most financial, your cheapest option. There is no covered courts in this plan. But we'll go over numbers when we get through them all, okay? The next page should be the Millennial Park Sports Hub. Now, this is located right in front of the baseball complex, between the skate park, sand volleyball, and basketball courts. Are you guys all familiar with this location? You understand? This is the preferred option to the large Danville Picklers. In my mind, if we have unlimited funds, this looks the best option. That area has always been kind of a hodgepodge, kind of done in different phases, where they built the basketball courts, they built the volleyball courts. I think this kind of ties all that together into one sports hub. It also provides more parking. We're adding 83 parking. We're adding restroom and shelter, which would also serve the skate park, volleyball, basketball courts. So it is serving more than just pickleball. We have on here, not including the price, but it leaves room for the possible skate park expansion, which is one of those small projects that we will be discussing in the future. We have 12 courts in this design. We have lighting for all 12. It's also connected to the trail system in Millennium Park. And overall, as I said, it kind of ties that whole area together. The constraints on this is sticker shock. It is a high estimate. There's a lot of relocation of sanitary and water surfaces. And whether you look at this as good or bad, it puts pickleball in all one location. So that's the sports hub. What they're calling the promenade is right next to the tennis courts, in between tennis and soccer there at Millennium Park. Are you familiar, are you all seeing, understand where this location is? On a personal, personally, I think they put it on this side of the tennis courts for one reason is, I think when they built the tennis courts, they found out that that ground is really full of a lot of huge rocks, and it's, the sewer is not, there's no sewer on that end. And I also believe that this keeps it on White's Park, a little area of White's Park, so it is county property also. And of course, Millennium Park is where the fairgrounds is if I'm not wrong, most of the fairgrounds is owned by Danville except for White's Park, correct? Where Millennium Park is jointly owned by the two of them. So I do believe that's why they're kind of putting it in that area right there. With it, we kind of, what the benefits of that is kind of unified paddle sports facility, all the tennis and pickleball in one location. They have a concept of covering 4 courts, lighting all 12. It is still connected to the walking trail. You don't see a design here, but we asked them to incorporate in the cost a shelter, which would be kind of in between the tennis and the pickleball courts. It's not on this diagram, but we did ask them to throw that in the cost assessment that we'll go over. And in this area, they're saying it can be easily phased, done in projects, but in my opinion, you can, and in the Picklers and Jerry's, we could easily phase the Millennium Park design, also the sports hub, which we'll get into a little later. The constraints on this is relocation of water lines. There's a lot of site development, which means, I believe, which you can't really see in these, but there are some retaining walls that have to be built, whereas the Millennium Park design is nice and flat. It's already stormwater drained. So there is a lot of dirt work needing to be done. Still utilizing it to one site, which can be good or bad in what opinion you have on that. We're calling it that it utilizes existing restroom buildings, what they're talking about is we have that soccer bathroom that's always open there. It is a little ways away from the pickleball courts, but there's also talk, I do believe those 4 courts at the top are where your county restroom is, but I do believe that that has been locked and not used for quite some time. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, okay. The other big problem with this is there's no real parking. They're basically telling us that we would use the parking around the big brown building. It would be gravel parking, and it's not really marked, but that's what they're kind of using in this. And it does have a lot of removal of old trees along that corridor there, if you're familiar with that area. So if you go to the next page, it's there. We're going to get into cost estimates now. The cost estimates for rehabbing what we currently have is a figure of $775,000. That is taking the pickleball courts down to the ground and rebuilding from ground up. That's 12 courts, 6 located at each site at a cost of $600,000. With lighting upgrades to Bunny Davis at $175,000. I will say that in the Bunny Davis pool rehab plan, there is a bathroom that would be on the pool house that would be restricted to the pool, from the pool, but would be available to the pickleball. So in that, when we get to that in the next coming months, there is a bathroom plan that would serve Bunny Davis pickleball.
But no additional parking.
But no additional parking, no, not at this point. And at Jackson Park. So that's the number you're looking at for, I guess, your basic, using existing facilities, but taking them and making them upgraded is around $775,000. Okay, let's go into Millennium Park alternative. which is a high figure. This is our highest total, but provides the most. And also, again, I would love to preference that this is also providing a restroom and a shelter for basketball, sand volleyball, basketball, the skate park, and any of kind of the trail system also. So you are serving a larger portion of your constituents. We have small breakdowns here, which kind of can show how we can break this down in phases if we wanted to add the restroom shelter later. But here's your costs on kind of each particular part of the plan. You got your site utilities, your restrooms costs, your lighting costs at $300,000, site work, and then of course your contingencies. So if you look at it, it looks like if you just put slapped 12 pickleball courts up, it's going to cost you $463,650. Does that make sense to everybody? And the breakdowns there? Okay. And as I said earlier, we're not looking for any action today. This is all informative. You can take these home and study them, look at them. If we need to, we can come up with a more extensive phasing plan. But I do believe we're going to get into this, and it does have a two-phase approach. If you look at the promenade walk alternative, your price is not much different. But this, like again, this does not include a shelter or it does include a shelter, but it doesn't include a restroom. So you're looking at $3,711,000 and change for the promenade walk. So about a $200,000 difference. But as I said again, in the Millennium Park one, it includes a restroom for several features. Is your $200,000 difference. Again, here's your cost breakdowns. It does include a small shelter, not quite as big as the other one. You got your site utilities, your lighting, site work, and contingencies breakdown. The next page kind of shows you a two-phased approach in phasing option. I believe we discussed maybe extending that into a 3 to 4 phase if the city and county would like to go with these large options. But again, to break these down, renovating Bunny Davis Jackson Park. Reason we had doing Jackson Park renovation first is because, again, once we get the Bunny Davis pool rehab in, that could be possible affect the Bunny Davis pickleball courts in the construction part of that. So basically if we followed this plan, we would do the Jackson Park ones first, so we had pickleball as the Bunny Davis is being renovated, and then come back, do the Bunny Davis after that.
But the Jackson Park renovation doesn't include lighting.
The Jackson Park doesn't include lighting.
Okay.
In this particular proposal. Again, we can add if we need to. The Millennium Park alternative was doing phase 1, doing 6 courts, the restroom shelter, site work, and the lighting to get 6 up and running, and the restroom shelters was starting off with the $2,500,000. And then the phase 2 would be adding 6 more, and the cover over the shelters, doing the parking lot and the lighting on the second phase. Promenade walk alternatives, you're looking at about the same numbers, but we're doing 8 courts. We are doing the lighting and shelter and doing the utilities at a cost of $2,411,000 and change. And then the second phase would be adding the top 4 courts, the court shelter, and site work for $1,300,000. So that is the basic gist of it. If you'd like some questions, if I can answer them, I will. Again, I'll say we do have Rick here, but the city was given this same feasibility study. No action was taken. Again, we're trying to keep the Bunny Davis rehab and the pickleball construction separate, but at some point they're gonna have to cross over. So we wanna get the, I believe we wanna get the pool numbers in and review those also before any big decisions are made. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, to me, that's a big part of the puzzle is
Right.
getting the pool
Correct.
numbers in, because I think, in our discussion, that seems to keep rising to the
Yep.
top
Yep.
of the list of things to do. Then a couple of questions about pickleball in this proposal. While as somebody that's involved in sports and recreation my whole life, I fully understand the growth of pickleball as a sport and the fact that it's grown within all age groups. It kind of came onto the scene thinking it was an older adult, aging adult sport, but it's actually all the way through the ages. And so that's something to recognize. But with that, I also think we have to recognize that tennis is not getting nearly as much play as it used to. Tennis is kind of going the way of fast pitch or slow pitch softball. First fast pitch softball and now slow pitch softball. There's not that much play going on. So what do you do with your softball fields that are no longer being used? A lot of them were converted into fast pitch softballs, and you shorten the fence. So I just think we've got to be careful and not discounting the fact that, and I'm also, as somebody involved in athletics and programming and those type of things, that I'm a big fan of multi-purpose facilities.
Agreed.
And I think we've got to really look, and sometimes you make everybody mad with a multi-purpose facility, and you know that as Parks and Rec Director. But sometimes you do have to, because of the limit in dollars, you have to look at ways to multi-purpose facilities. We've played, like at, I hate to keep always using center, but at center, we play men's lacrosse and football on the same field.
Correct.
They have different lines. They figure it out.
Right.
We play basketball and volleyball on the same courts. They have different lines. They figure it out. So I just think that we have to keep that also on the table. I think we have lots of hard court surfaces in this community already with nets on them that I think we can find ways to utilize. That's my soapbox speech, and I'll shut up now.
Well, and I agree with you, and that's one reason when the Millennium Park, when they proposed the pickleball at the Millennium Park site, we wanted to make sure that is one of, that is a joint county, city owned. There's utilities right there, it's a great flat spot. In the master plan, that was where an indoor recreation center was designed. So we want to inform you and you and the city and cover as many constituents as we can. And so we felt that we should at least look at what the numbers of an indoor large facility on the joint property would cost, so you would have that in front of you. Because when you're talking an indoor facility, that is covering all bases: basketball, even archery, volleyball, pickleball, everything. And all our leagues who are spread out across the whole county, it would put them all into one location. So we do want to have that option available to you. So we should have that in December. And like I said, if you're going to spend this amount of money, you want to cover as many bases as you can. So once we have all those options for you, we will present them to both you and the city, and as the elected officials, have you guys, make that decision.
Judge.
Measure Ells.
Tommy.
1 second, Measure Come.
In the work that was done before the tennis courts were built, I had 2 meetings with powers that be in city government. I played 7 years of high school and college tennis competition. I urge that the courts, except for the 2, maybe 4, that are truly competition courts, I urge that we not build what I call Holiday Inn courts, where there's not a margin at the back, there's not a margin at the side, and most of our courts that were built are somewhere between a Holiday Inn court and a competition court, which really grieves me because we had plenty of space to do it in what I would say a much better manner, because we are having high schools and others come to compete here, and we want to invite them for tennis competitions. If my colleagues will take your, and by the way, before I say anything more, I'm totally for the Millennium Park option, but in order to have my court colleagues look at this, if you'll look at the very bottom of the promenade courts and the very top of Bunny Davis, engineers designed what we're looking at here at a cost that we shared, and I would have expected that in their design of what we're looking at, the margins would be accurate. But if you see Bunny Davis, and I would have to go to the Picklers to know about the back margin, the back spaces, but the side spaces of the Jackson and Davis are much more significant than they are for the ones at the promenade. I'm just, for the record, because it did not work out that way on the tennis courts, whatever we do, listen to the Picklers, because I cannot imagine with what I've watched on television of Pickler competition when they are serious about the game. I cannot imagine not giving them enough area to play with all the dollars that we're going to invest. So it's on the record now. It didn't come out the way that I had hoped it would on the tennis courts, and I sincerely don't want to spend any tax dollars and have insufficient space for each court.
Mr. Cullen?
Yeah. So this was probably kind of our fault at the meeting we had together with not putting constraints on what we were asking for. I thought I did, and then it got crazy with these, with these proposals. I understand architects want to, build their legacy or whatever, but when I brought up the request and said, and voted in favor of paying for part of these studies, whatever. My original statement was, let's put $200,000 to $300,000 together and build some courts, and it turned into $3-4 million. What we want to build, and I'm glad no action is being taken today, because it would, in my opinion, be a flat out no with what you guys are, with what they've come back with. But we asked for pickleball courts. We didn't ask for bathrooms. We didn't ask for promenades. We didn't ask for shelters or any of this stuff. We're just asking for pickleball courts, and that's where we really need to go back to. We don't need to spend millions of dollars on this. We've got several locations in Millennium Park that it needs to stay if you want county funding. Jackson Park is not a county-owned property, so that shouldn't even be part of the discussion with us, because if the city wants to improve those courts at Jackson, then they're more than welcome to, whatever. But that's not going to be a funding ask from the fiscal court, because it's not ours. But what we need to do is we need a serious look at building 8 courts with some lighting covered for a portion of them, and be done with it. And then we can start phasing in the other stuff. We build these big, grand plans to build stuff, and then it's 5-6 years down the road before it actually happens, because it's so much involved. The Picklers came to us with a request. We need to kind of honor that request in an expedited manner and just get this off our plate so we can move on to other things. And I understand your whole idea about building this big indoor facility, but what most people in the pickleball community and some of the other stuff you were talking about will want is dedicated spaces. If you build this big indoor facility, you're not going to be able to have everything running at the same time. It's going to have to change out. And so then, like we found with Jenny Rogers, where some of the pickleball people were upset because, the courts weren't set up, or weren't going to be set up. we really just need this to be a smaller project, less on the table, get it done, and just get it off our plate.
If I can answer that, Jason, in that joint meeting, I don't believe there was a discussion of the county had this much, the city had this much. And I do believe you were the one that stated that we should seek the Pickler's advice. And one of the main things of the Pickler's advice is a bathroom at the pickleball facilities. And one of our biggest fears in discussing building new ones is building another, taking them away from Bunny Davis and putting them at another site, which is not even, there's no improvement to. It's just 8 courts instead of 6.
Judge.
With no bathroom, with no shelter. They have a shelter at Bunny Davis, so if we just build, if we take that away and build 8 courts without a shelter, is that gonna satisfy, you know? I mean, that shelter, Jerry can contest to that, is used extensively. Because again, pickleball is it's not just about the actual playing the game, it's about community, and they all come together and play at the same time, and they visit under the shelter. This is what I see on a daily basis. So again, our biggest fear is we've spent a lot of money building them something that is not any better than what they already have.
Magistrate Ellis.
I too, we all were part of that meeting, and I want to bow to Jerry Carter, because I don't remember that one of the requirements from the Picklers was restrooms. Jerry, did you?
I don't remember that either, Magistrate Ellis. I don't, we didn't mention about bathrooms. We're talking about additional facilities, better facilities. And that's what we were asking for.
To play.
Yeah, to play. Now, some kind of shelter would be nice, but it doesn't have to be, well, let's put it this way. The restrooms as presented in the Millennium Park project, when you break it down, it's $660,000. That's just entirely too much. This whole, I'll tell you right now, Steve Sleeper, you're my magistrate, but if you voted to spend $3.9 million on this, I can't imagine what I'd say to you. 'Cause but I do appreciate Tommy's work on this. I really do appreciate you seeking the Pickler's opinion. We support pickleball. You know, and all I'm going to say is about the Bunny Davis restoration is I wasn't told Jackson Park was going to be totally drowned and then redone. We were told Bunny would be done that, but is the fencing going to be replaced? Because if you go around, I encourage you to go take a look at the Bunny Davis facility. Drive by there and see what shape it's in right now. And that's how it looks. If it's in Millennium Park, it's going to be much better taken care of.
And for visitors from outside and everything else, it's going to be much more of an economic development draw.
Yeah, absolutely, in that location. And with more courts, 8 courts,
Parking.
You can, I'm not even, look guys, I don't even think you needed the parking in this one. You have parking here in front of the basketball courts and right over next to the skate park.
Right.
We weren't asked, we didn't get this until it was presented to the city commission. We got to take a look at it, but we couldn't take a copy and look at it. We got to see it, but we couldn't get it. Now I understand the city commission hadn't got to see it. We shouldn't, you know, have a copy before the commissioners. We're fine. But there's a lot in here that we're going, we didn't ask for.
Okay, well, we're not making a decision today, so this is all just discussion.
Right.
Mr. Cullen, do you have another comment?
Yeah, I do. Just kind of back to Tommy's points, and I appreciate, you know, Tommy being in the middle of all this, but yeah, at some point we do want to improve Millennium Park, and that's understandable, but, you know, go to, you know, any one of the soccer games, any of the other stuff that's going on. You know what the people are using? They're using tents. They put up tents. For the amount of time that people are actually playing pickleball, you know, it's not because, you know, it's not popular, but it's, you know, they play in the morning, they play in the evening because, you know, they're at work or school during the day. So you could very easily solve those 2 issues with some tents that I'm sure the pickleball people would be happy to bring in the meantime if they got nice new courts, because that's what they really care about is nice new courts. And then also, you know, if need be for temporary time till we kind of find other options that aren't over $500,000 for bathrooms, you know, we put a couple porta potties out there. You know, those are easy solutions instead of spending $4 million and kicking this can down the road, because that's exactly what will happen, is that this will not get built because, you know, we're talking $4 million here, we're talking $10 million for this indoor facility, we're talking $8 million, $12 million for the pools. I mean, where's all that money going to come from? And then construction. And I can guarantee that the indoor and the pool are going to be priorities over everything, and this pickleball thing's never getting built. So, Tommy, I'm going to say that, yes, I did say when I brought it up at that meeting originally back when the city and the county met, I said $250,000 from each side we can kick in and build some courts and get it done. And you go 8 courts for that, no problem. I mean, if you look at the proposal, you know, the courts aren't the most expensive part. It's all this other extra stuff that we're doing that we don't need, that the picklers didn't ask for, we didn't ask for. So, you know, that's my 2 cents.
Mr. Bodner?
And I just wanted to say, I mean, all this looks beautiful, and if we had tons of money, I would love every bit of it. It'd be perfect. But since we don't, I think we're saying we'd like to see it at Millennium, drilled down to the bare necessities, so we can get these picklers their courts, and it will also improve our property and make it more of a sports complex.
Right, and that's fine, you've taken Jerry's advice, and when he talks about they don't need a bathroom. I'm the one there every day at Bunny Davis and have people using the side of the Bunny Davis parking lot as the restroom. So restrooms are a needed thing in particular
They're nice
situations
to
like
have,
this.
for sure.
And we actually had a problem where the fencing was broken down and they were coming into the Bunny Davis from and using the bathroom. So
I think
it depends on who you ask if you want a restroom.
Well,
there's plenty of people that have stated that is one
I
of
think
their
in the
objections.
future, that would be obviously a great thing to add, but for now, if we really want to address that issue of getting the courts out there so because they're now into the sport and really want to get this done, the only way we can do that is to narrow it down to the basics.
I understand that, and that's possible as it is broken down, but we can take off. That's entirely up to the elected officials. If you want to take bathrooms, shelters, trees,
just enough,
all that stuff off, that's fine with me. I have no problem.
One last word from me. I'm going to go back 62 years when 3 on my team of 6 in high school rode our bicycles 2 miles to a very poor basketball or tennis court or pair of tennis courts. We pre-planned, never even thought about it, but we would play for 2 or 3 hours, ride our bicycles home, and none of us ever said, oh my gosh, we don't have a bathroom here. $600,000. I think people can plan ahead not to drink a 32-ounce Pepsi before they go and play. And we're talking about getting something done that not only will be what the pickleballers locally are looking for, but all the conversation that we've had in the past about this being a tremendous new draw to our sports complex for folks to come in, stay at our motels, go to our restaurants, and have competition.
You're talking about something different there then. You're talking about tournaments, which you do need to have facilities for if you're going to have a tournament there. Now,
there are facilities at Millennium Park.
There are, but they're a long ways away. Trust me.
My goodness.
Okay.
Again, you can pick and choose from this at all you want. That's why it's broken down the way it is.
At my age, I can walk to the facility from the basketball courts right now in less than 5 minutes.
Okay, we're not making a decision today. Tommy, thank you for
great.
coming and
No
bringing
problem.
the presentation. Thank you for all of you that have expressed comments and concerns. And we will take this under advisement, and the court can meet at a special call meeting perhaps and decide what we want
That's
to do
great.
going forward. So,
All right,
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I do want to
We'll
tell
see
you,
you next month then.
November 19th is the November meeting.
Yes.
The December meeting has been changed to a Thursday, but it's December 19th.
Okay, then we look November 19th and December 19th.
Yes.
We're perfect.
Yes.
Great, look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait. She's correcting me. Hold on. Let me see. November, I gotta keep straight. Oh, I'm sorry, it's November 26th.
November 26th?
Yeah, I was looking at
It's
the
the
wrong
second, fourth
month.
Friday.
Yeah,
And then the December is the 19th.
December is the 19th,
Because
yes,
of Christmas.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tommy.
Yep.
You have a great day. All right, next up, Recycling Director Angie Muncy. Come on down.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How's everybody?
Good.
All right, so, first of all, just FYI before I start, we had 30,824 tires.
Whoa.
Say that again, sir.
30,000 what?
824.
Wow.
So yes, that was about
Good job.
6,000 more than what we had the last time, so.
Wow.
Considering Lincoln was the weekend before, that was a lot of tires.
Good job.
Okay, I just got them stats in, so I just thought I'd share them.
Well, I've got some more. Can I bring them to you?
No, you're done. I want to hear from you for 3 more years, John. Hey, put them in Jason's yard.
All right. Yeah, he said I could put them behind his house.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so what I'm here to talk about is, as you know, we've always had a problem with brush at Alum Springs. And we have spent a lot of money during disasters, and we just got done spending $55,000, is that
60.
correct? Close to 60. And we had another disaster. So it's just like, it's ongoing. So I was looking for a way to be more cost effective because, you know, this involves the city of Danville as well. We have discussed with them, you know, going in 50% with a air burner. So let me explain first an air curtain burner versus an incinerator. There is a difference. First of all, an air curtain is self-contained. It reduces your smoke particulates by 98%. So there is really no smoke to an air curtain burner. I mean, the only way you're going to get anything like that if you pile it more than what the thing is. This also, it can be, roof balls can be used in it, which we have that problem because we can't take. Pallets, as you know, is a problem. Wood construction debris, you know, which is, I think, is a big game changer for Boyle County. I've been in touch with a colleague of mine in Pulaski County, Danny Maston. They have one of these and has invited us down if we would like to see it. Just give him a day's notice. He said he would gladly fire it up and let us see how it worked.
I would love to see that, and I want to see where it's sitting. Is it sitting right in the middle of a community of houses?
Sure, there's no smoke to it.
Is it in the middle of houses?
I don't know that. I haven't
That's
asked
my
them.
objection to it, and I've already talked to
Well, there's no smoke. I don't know why there's
98%, so there is some smoke.
very.
little.
You're going to have little. I have neighbors that burn brush, and I have ash on my car.
So can we
But
put
it's not
it somewhere?
illegal.
Can we put it somewhere else?
Where are we going to put it?
I don't know. We've got new property on.
I think
Stewart's Lane.
Alum
Got a lot of
Springs is
acres there.
actually the better place for it because there's not really nothing real close.
Right. We've got Stewart's Lane. We've
But
got
it's
new
not
property.
really that close at Alum Springs.
Excuse me. I don't
That's where the
understand.
chipping goes now. That's why we're
Yes.
thinking about putting it
Mhm.
in Alum Springs, because that's where we
There's
take
a
our brush to
community, but
chip.
it's not
So we
a
could-
tight community.
You know, I make a motion, we table the purchase of this air box until we have further information that tells me, I wanna see where they're placed and see if they're in the middle of a community of houses, 10 or 15, 20 houses.
Well, I wasn't asking to buy one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is something that we need to discuss with the city and, you know, if you wanna keep on spending the $60,000, $70,000, but it is not the same. It is This
So
is
I-
not an incinerator, this is not setting anything on fire.
Parliamentary
This is-
procedure.
We have a motion to table this discussion until a further date. Do you want to specify a certain time?
Yeah, let's do, let's do a month.
A month?
Actually, the
Okay.
motion was to table the purchase of this,
Right.
not to table the discussion.
Right, that's
So,
true.
Angie stopped that by saying she's not asking to purchase anything.
Okay.
That's
She was
correct. So do you want to
interrupted at
rescind your
one.
motion?
I'll rescind the motion if
Restate
she's
it.
not, right.
Well,
She was interrupted.
she's not
I'll
going to
let-
make one now because she's not asking us to
Okay.
agree to purchase anything.
Okay.
Thank you,
I'll
Mr. Cullen.
rescind that, and I will wait and hear the rest of yours
We
because
just
I
won't
do
take
want.
any action until we do that.
Absolutely.
She's just
The
informing us
action we need,
this is an option.
This is a big
Yeah,
option, I think it's a big economic,
hold on, Angie.
go ahead.
Angie, hold on. The action she's asking to take is for us to take a field trip to go down to Pulaski County and stop asking questions, but actually say anything, where it's placed, what it does, how much smoke it creates, before we start, getting out our pitchforks and everything and worrying about all this stuff that can be easily answered by a little field trip of our group to go down and see this thing in action. And I would appreciate that, because half the time when this stuff comes out, it ends up that most of the stuff we worry about is not even a concern. I mean, if it makes sense in Alum Springs, because that's where all the debris and everything else goes, but we can keep piling up stuff at Alum Springs and never get the bike park because everything's built up over there. But let's just go and look at the thing and stop arguing over it until we actually have facts in front of us.
There's a process, of course, when you get an is this the same process for an incinerator? You go through the EPA and get you have an application for it?
Air quality just now has a form that, our air quality in Kentucky is all for it. All they do is see
As
what's
opposed
placed
to
in
open burn. They're for it as opposed to open burn, is my understanding.
There's a big difference between open burn and these.
Exactly. And so but
there is a permit, yes, we have to get a permit.
As opposed to chipping, they would rather have chipping than open air burner and air burner instead of open burn, excuse me.
Judge.
I didn't get what there's a difference between an open burn and an air curtain burner.
Right, absolutely. In other words,
I don't follow you.
They're saying it's much better to have an air burner as opposed to doing an open burn.
Than open burn.
But
Yes.
a chipper is even better than an air burn because you can reuse the chips, that are there.
The big thing is though, the chipper we have is not going to do massive amounts that
It's
we
the
have.
cost of the chipper. is
Right.
It's the cost.
And just to bring this
And
up.
I don't have enough employees to keep up. The one little one we got does little things, but when we have a disaster, like we keep having the wind, we're talking
to
big
call in
money.
the big
We have to
chipper,
call the
right.
big chipper, big grinder.
And as far as the air burner taking debris from construction sites, I mean,
Wood.
the wood, they have to be clean wood. You can't have pieces of roofing on it, or it has to be cleaned up wood and if you're thinking about that as a project to earn money from contractors.
Not particularly, it's just, it can be a game changer. That's just a suggestion, but I'm looking out for all these scraps of wood in our disasters, and, we're not gonna always be lucky enough to get FEMA to give us money.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna ask you to schedule us a field trip.
Okay, any is it time's good, I mean.
Just get us
to
some
schedule
dates,
it
get us
and-
some dates and let us see which is the best
Because
day.
Danny really didn't care what, when we went, just give him a day's notice and.
Well, you get that scheduled for us, and Magistrate Ellis has comment.
Thank you, Judge. Obviously, I was confused because I'm looking at $214,225,413.82. So I was thinking that the possibility was that we were going to purchase this, but that matters not to me. I've done some research in the tiny bit of time that I had, and even EPA understands that farmers and loggers and others often burn acres easily far surpassing 10 times the size of this room, and that is legal in all counties, and because they're on farms, it does not require a permit, which is kind of interesting, and I think that's part of the research that we're going to have to do. Number two, anything loaded into, because I have one of the competitive companies pulled up on my phone here, anything that is loaded into these things is going to have to be at the size of a large root ball or smaller. For the smaller items, that is going to be extraordinarily labor intensive. For the larger items, that means that Rogers equipment is going to be on site, as opposed, because we have so much use of getting rid of materials like storm damage. So that comes into the cost factor for us. I've heard a lot in the last 2 days about cost savings, but just that idea of men or women loading, and men or women loading with our equipment is going to be a cost that we'll have to anticipate as we're researching this over the next month. The transport of the materials will be an added cost, and if we were ever to consider $225,000 for one of these, my vote today and tomorrow and the next time it would come up would be absolutely not, when that would nearly buy us a new EMS vehicle. So I have researched this to the point where I've contacted farmers in the area who would absolutely love to have a new source of income where either they would transport to their farms or we would make arrangements for individuals and our own folks to take storm damage to their farms and burn it on farms where they would benefit as farmers, and we want them to have adequate incomes, and we would not have the cost of loading, of machine loading, and unloading the particulate matter that would be left after the burning.
2 points. One is that Rogers equipment is used when we have the machine. Chipper. Anyway, because they have to load the stuff into the chipper. So Public Works is involved either way we go here.
No,
Public Works
they wouldn't
is
be long.
into.
We're talking about the fact that we would accept root balls. Well,
no, they don't. I'm just saying currently Public Works is there to help with the chipper because they have to load the materials that are brought there into the chipper. Second of all, the prices listed would be split in half with the city. So.
And you need to remember that you're not always going to be out there. This holds and burns very fast, so it's just like Pulaski County says, you know, when it's done, it's there sitting waiting. I mean,
so we're back to either purchasing or leasing a $225,000 piece of equipment, and I could not vote for that. Not now, not ever.
Okay.
That's Powell's excavating. They love the $55,000, $60,000, $80,000 every year. So I mean.
And can we find a way to use those chips? Is there a way? When I drove down Florida home, there's like piles and piles of chips everywhere.
People come and get them.
And so why can't we make that a lucrative, the chipping, to gain back our $50,000 a year? Why can't we look into that as how can we
sell the chips?
Sell the chips, or find a way to sell the chips to offset the cost of the chipper, because the chipper's not anything to do with our health. The chip's a little bit of noise a couple weeks a year, you know, or maybe if you had to do it twice a year.
That chipper would have to run every day, all day to get what we have out there when a disaster happens.
Right, but we got them all done now. It's all
No, it's
cleaned up.
not. It was.
No, we just brought in a new.
It was. It's got a new disaster as soon as we got done.
Before this last one, it was all done, and it took
not
2
now.
weeks.
We had disaster.
Right, so now we can take and
full again.
Do it again, but what I'm saying is we've got to look at other options.
Well, we've worked with one option, but again, let's go down there with an open mind and look and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll move past it. But having this preconceived notion that it's not going to work is not helping anything. And if you look at the actual material that was given to us, This ash is actually used better for farmers and for planting. And,
It's a biochar.
you know, $225,000 we could cover part of this with a grant as well. There's grants out there for this stuff. We actually had grants for this stuff before and we had to give it back. So let's not just come up with a straight no because, you know, somebody brought up something that may or may not actually be true. Let's go down there, look at it, do our actual homework, and be done with it.
And if you're using the material that we have from the seller of the piece of equipment, then that's what you're gonna get. It's the most awesome thing in the world. So yes, I did say from the beginning, Jason, that I wanted to go see it and see it in work and see what it does, because I've got, you know, Jimmy and I live there. We live in that community. We live within, one house is, what, 200 feet? Is the Ruth's house 200 feet from the place it would be? So it's
Well,
in our...
Pulaski's the shortest place to go. Pike County just got one, so that's too far to go.
Well,
So
just
we'll go
set
to
us up,
Pulaski. I will.
give me some dates, let me get with the magistrates and see what date is most suitable for the majority, and we'll go take a field trip.
Exactly.
All right.
Good deal.
So thank you for
Let me
bringing
just
it.
add real quick, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But and you made some of these points, so I'm just echoing them. This is a split with the city.
Yes.
First of all, so we are talking about splitting this with the city. Right now, you know, again, making the point again, the reminder that we're spending $50,000 to $60,000 when we have these disasters to bring in big equipment or more. So that easily, it doesn't take long to add up to our $100,000 amount. And you know, again, we do need to make the field trip because again, the committee is recommending that we pursue this purchase.
And put it in Alum Springs.
We don't have a recommendation on that.
Thank you.
But
That's what I
we are recommending that we pursue this, provided that we split it with the city. And so that is the recommendation from the Solid Waste Committee. So we have reviewed this. I would love to go see it in action because I think that is important.
Yeah, it is.
That we go see it, and so hopefully the committee can be
And I have talked
scheduled.
to city manager, and he has already given a verbal agreement that the city would be splitting it in half, so.
It's pretty far down the road when we haven't even researched alternatives, but I too would like to be there, so any member of the court ought to have the opportunity to go to Pulaski County.
That's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're gonna do.
And I would add to that all these worthy questions that are being brought up, that you keep those in mind when we go to the site visit to ask those questions of those who are already had experience.
Have a list
with
of
it.
questions prepared,
Write 'em
to
out,
take with you.
Danny is very good. Danny will address all your concerns.
Okay, just let us know.
All right.
Tom, I'd be
Thank you.
careful about the businesses on the farmlands. I would check with Chief Sexton because I think once they start doing it as a for-profit business that's not agricultural, they may not have those freedoms.
They
So I would
will
double
not.
check on that
They
first.
will not. They will have to have permits.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Sheriff's Office, third quarter report, Sheriff Bottom.
Morning. I heard a bunch of people say they're gonna make it short, but I promise you mine's short. I
move to accept his report.
Thank you. Third quarter report.
Okay, third quarter report just has to be acknowledged by the
I
court.
move we acknowledge his
So,
report.
we do not have to vote on it, so just, the court has acknowledged your report.
Thank you all.
That was quick.
Oh, you already signed that one. I'll take that. See, look. No, I'll sign this one.
All right.
Okay, you did both of them.
We'll
Just
just,
had to make it longer, didn't
we'll
you?
just pause for a moment of signing.
Thank you. Oh, by the way,
Want me to get that one back? Next, okay.
Governor Brashear made October the pharmacist month today, so wanted to shout that out to my wife who's a pharmacist.
Oh, was not aware of that, okay, thank you very much. All right, Treasurer Green, following right along with the sheriff, another item of business?
I don't think you have to approve it because he pays his own salaries, but I just wanted to present the incentive payment to the sheriff.
All right. There we go. Acknowledged. All right, Julie Wagner,
All right.
CVB ordinance.
The legislature passed House Bill 8. House Bill 8 is so that we can collect transient room tax from mainly short-term rentals, but they've spelled out who has to pay. So in looking at the ordinance 460.0, we have not addressed the penalty and interest rates since 1990. So I'm proposing 20% penalty and 12% interest per year. There are some habitual delinquencies that I think this will help them pay sooner. The second change is on page 2, and that is the actual language that the League of Cities put out for House Bill 8. In talking to the county attorney, we also sort of agreed that we need a definition page to spell out what a short-term rental is and what these payees are. So we will add that to the second reading. So this would be a reading of first reading of ordinance 460.3, an amendment to ordinance 460.0 relating to the establishment of a tourist commission and levying transient room tax in Boyle County.
Okay, does everybody understand what is happening here?
Yes.
Okay, so 20% penalty and 12% interest has been adjusted to the new ordinance from the old ordinance. So do we have a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 460.3?
I'll make a motion.
Magistrate Bodner, okay, second.
Second.
Magistrate Gay, any discussion?
Yeah, I was telling Julie that we need to correct a few little things on the proposed amendment. When I was researching on the KLC website, there's a part where any amendment should clarify that the tax applies to rentals through online travel companies as well as companies subject to the transient room tax under the old KRS 91A 390 language. So we definitely want to include that because that would then cover like the VRBOs, things like that. So, but I'll work with Julie next week and we can fine tune this amendment so when we come back for our next fiscal court meeting, it should be all intact and cover all our bases.
Thank you, Attorney Herron. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. That's our first reading. Okay.
Real quick,
Yes.
we didn't vote on Taylor's incentive pay. We normally do. Is that a change?
Shannon said that because he pays his own salary, that we did not have to vote. We can if, just to cover all the bases, but.
Well, I mean, the incentive pays, that doesn't come out of our.
Comes out of the sheriff's budget.
or-
Comes out of the sheriff's budget.
I think we should vote on it. We always have.
Okay, have a motion
Second.
by Magistrate Ellis, second by Magistrate Gay to approve the sheriff's incentive pay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is we've had a Boyle County constituent asked to be put on our agenda to appear before fiscal court. Jesse Griffin is with us today. Jesse, I'll let you come up and explain what you're here to speak to the magistrates about. And we do have handouts.
I think it's a wonderful thing to come in and sit through a meeting like this, and I see how the court system here works to help the community and the county, and things get resolved. I mean, there's, it's just good. This first time I've done this, and kudos to every one of you.
Thank you.
With that being said, I have a problem that I cannot get any assistance with. I have approached the judge. I have approached different people. I have multiple people, including Daniel Elliott, our state representative. I've talked to Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. I have talked to, I done forgot how many people. Nobody can help with stray cats. There's nothing on the book, ooh, yeah, I see it cringe. There's nothing on the books in the state of Kentucky that I know of controlling stray cats. I don't have a problem with cats. I mean, I think cats are like any other animal that God created. And I try to live in harmony as much as possible with any of God's creation. I don't want to do the wrong thing in any way. I have tried to do the right thing. When I first started noticing we had a stray cat or two, I found out that the Boyle County, I think Humane Society, had a catch, stray, neuter, and return program. I got involved in that. The young man, Cody, and I got along great. I tried to assist him what I could. You know, if there are traps set and it's nighttime, he says, I don't want to leave them in the trap at night, and I said, I agree. So, you know, I'd watch the traps, see if there was something in it, I'd let him know. If there wasn't, I'd go through and trip them, and then come back the next day and reset them. So they wouldn't, that was humane, in my opinion. And I tried to get involved with that, I tried to help it. We caught 16 cats on my place at one time.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Tell us what the problem is. What is the issue that you're having with the stray cats?
Are you in the city or county?
County.
County.
I can't have a garden.
Next to me.
There's so many that they're pooping in my garden,
Yeah.
and it's contaminated. I'm advised by the health department, I'm advised by the extension office, don't eat it. E. coli and a whole list of germs and infectious diseases and that you're susceptible to. What do I do? I'm asking the courts for help.
And I have
What
talked
do I
to
do?
him several times on this issue, and I told him he could come to us. I know it's a Humane Society issue where they release the cats, but here's my history. I've been 49 years on that corner in Alum Springs, 49 years. I always had to go to a farmer to get a cat. I'd go to a farmer and ask for a cat. I can get cats anytime I want them now. They're all over my yard, so I don't care what anybody says, they're dropping tons of cats in our neighborhood. There's proof. I've lived there 49 years and never found a stray cat that I could just pick up and say, here's your cat. I had to go to farmers and find them and get them. But now there are cats everywhere. We see them in our backyard all the time. Cats, and you know.
And
so,
the man, I'm sorry, Paul.
You go ahead.
But the man that was helping catch them went to the neighbors and caught even more. We caught a total of 25 cats that they had.
And this is in 2 houses, and between 2
next
houses.
to each other.
Okay, they're catching them, and what are they?
They bring them back and release them. Then the next thing you know, I don't know who. I understand habitat. Everything has to have habitat, food, water, shelter. If it has none of those, it leaves.
Right.
But if you provide shelter, then it's going to stay in it to find food and water somehow. But as long as there's food, water, and shelter, they're there.
So
Is there anybody close to you that are feeding the cats?
I've told yes, but I couldn't swear to it. I haven't seen them.
Okay,
So that's hearsay.
okay.
And I was also told that the Humane Society would bring them out and release them out in the county. But I don't know, that's hearsay, I can't.
No,
say.
that's true.
No, they
That is true.
have a community cat program, which is trap, neuter,
So-
and release.
But they're doing an exorbitant amount of cats in our community. So they're taking them from where and releasing them there, because we have proof of it. I've been there 49 years, Jimmy's been there forever. You know, we've all been there for years, and so why are they
It's my
releasing?
understanding that they trap them, they take them and they, spay or neuter, and then they release them back to the area that they trapped them from.
That's
Now,
right.
I can't say that's 100%.
That is true.
But
It
that's
happened on
what
my
I've been
property.
told.
In the county, it's happened on my property. Judge, I have a critical question because I've heard about the program, but there's one critical question that I ask. Are they vaccinated against rabies before they're released back into the community?
I'm told that they are vaccinated, I couldn't tell you what for.
I'm
If they are-
99% sure by law, because they're tracking them to fix them, if you get them fixed, they're gonna get vaccinated for rabies. They
This
have
is
to
Rachel
legally.
Beckman.
Hi, everybody, this is why I'm here, just
Yeah.
to
Rachel
listen,
would
but
know.
yeah.
The
So
reason
I don't
I-
think they're vaccinated for other stuff necessarily, they're not for feelings, but for rabies they should be.
But the reason I bring that up is 28 kids played with a stray cat at Georgetown College, and loved that cat to death for 2 or 3 days until it was diagnosed with rabies, and virtually every one of them had the in the belly shots, the series of shots, because that was a rabid cat. And it is a pervasive problem in my district, to the point where someone who invests in birds so that the cubbies will grow and become, and works with Fish and Wildlife on this, by the way, is spending not hundreds but thousands of dollars in the losses that he has with the stray cats in my district. And it is a problem that is manifested in my backyard with 5 or 6 cats that have been caught. And I'm out in the county, but I'm sure it's happening in the city, Rick, as well.
Yes, and I think there's two individual programs, because the catch and release, I think, is an individual program by itself. It's funded from somewhere, I don't know where.
It's with the Humane Society.
Okay, but then.
With the federal government.
But then the Humane Society, are they, what they're releasing into the community, are those?
Cats that they've picked up.
Yes. Or are they just cats that have been dropped off at the Humane Society?
No, they're cats that they go out and trap. It's called TNR. They trap them, they spay or neuter, and then they release them back to the areas that they trapped them from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, regardless, my issue for being here is, what do I do? I started to bring some leftover tomatoes, see if anybody was wanted, because I can't eat them. I don't want to eat them.
Master Gay?
No, I guess, as you alluded to, it's obviously a very challenging problem, and I guess I'm, like everyone, what is the solution?
Correct.
And I don't have the answer.
I don't have an answer right now.
I wish I did, and I would be curious as to what other communities are doing. Again, this is one of those issues that I can't imagine is unique to Alum Springs or Boyle County. I'm not sure what the answer is really, because obviously
Because
the
there's
Humane
not
Society,
KRS regarding cats. And
right?
That's
And so I
Actually,
feel your
yours-
pain, and I appreciate you being here.
Judge,
I don't know if there's an easy
clarification on
answer.
that.
hang on. Okay, let Jamie finish.
Yeah, I was all.
Okay.
Clarification on that, the new statute on animal abuse covers all animals, domestic and wild. So yes, there is a statute.
That's on abuse, though.
I understand, but I just wanted to have that clarification.
Yeah, that's on abuse. That's not what
Is there a
his
way
problem
to
is.
get the number of cats we're having released from the Humane Society that tells us how many they're trapping and how many they're putting back out there? And I just can't believe that after 40, let's say 48 years, I have no cats in the area, and then the last maybe year and a half, I have 15, 20 cats running around. I can't believe that we
All
had.
these cats are being spayed,
all
and neutered.
are-
Where are they coming from?
Exactly, they're all adults. There are no kittens. They're just all these adults. Well, my husband saw kittens one time, and then when I came around, they weren't there, so I don't, but, what, we need numbers, or, I don't know what we can do to help you, but, I know it's a problem. I don't know what you do.
Okay.
Did the state representative have any?
Yeah.
answer?
It's not a state problem. Take it back to your local government. That's why I'm here.
And then he's been to city, county, he's been everywhere.
Rachel, what's the?
Well, there's only so much I can do as a private citizen without
What's that?
resources and time.
What can the government do?
What can the government do? I'll have to get back to you about it, but I mean, there are definitely options as far as like getting them into barn cat programs.
Yeah, the barn cat program is really interesting. I've read up on that. That's really good.
There's Working Cat Project if they're feral, or at least semi-feral. There's Working Cat Project in Lexington. Ruby Morin in Crab Orchard has a barn cat program, but she can't afford to get them all fixed, so they need to be fixed and vaccinated.
And I'd
And then she
say
has
these
good luck
are.
placing them. I mean, there are options if they're friendly. Rescues, now granted, everybody's like really full, but that doesn't mean there's like no hope to get them places.
Are these cats friendly or are they feral?
Feral, to my assumption, I've never tried to approach one.
Okay. And most of them are feral that we.
But I mean, I know that's not quote unquote best practice.
Right.
So it's a matter of who you talk to and what you want to do. But if you want people to quit complaining about cats everywhere,
At least they're fixed. At least the ones that they
Yeah, fixing
released
them is
are
always a
fixed,
good-
and we're not
that's a
adding
great
to
thing.
the cat population. But
Right.
it is a
yeah.
problem.
These cats will be here 20-some years, you know,
Yes.
they could be. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we could have all these cats, 50
And I
cats.
don't mind having a cat or two hanging around.
Right, but-
I just wouldn't, I wanna eat a garden. I wanna be able to raise vegetables and do that.
Right.
And, you know, I've been a general
So
contractor.
they tested your garden soil? Is that what they did? And how did you find out that you couldn't eat from the garden? How did that come about?
Well, first of all, you walk out in the garden, you smell it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It's overwhelming. And you look around, there's a pile here, and there's a pile there, and I take pictures of different cats always coming to the garden, and that's what they come to the
Okay. I
fresh,
think we have pictures
loose
of that.
soil for. It's a litter box.
Okay.
And so therefore, I mean, from that, I didn't have it tested for that, but, you know, I did.
You didn't
go-
have the soil tested? You
Not
just-
at that time, I did later on, to see
Later,
what I
okay.
need to put in my garden for next year.
Okay.
Because
And
I want
that's
a garden.
when you found out that?
No.
Oh.
No, I went to start asking questions because I was concerned. So I went to the health department and I had a representative there say, you're not retailing food, so we can't really come out and have any control of it. But here's what you should be aware of. And they sent me a link on my phone, which I was not able to share, but I can share that with you, which you have other information
Mhm.
from the extension office.
Right.
That said, don't eat it for 180 days. That's I mean, we're already getting into 180 days for my next garden.
I think everybody, it's clearly a problem.
It's an issue, yes.
And I do want to, to my knowledge, the practice that the Humane Society is using is a best practice of the catch, spay, neuter, and release, because they don't have a lot of options either beyond that. Short of, you can only adopt out so many cats.
Right, and if they're feral, nobody wants to adopt a feral cat. 'Cause,
Right.
It's not friendly.
And if all the rescues are
Full.
then that's where we are.
Yeah.
Well, the barn working cat project, are they feral or do they have
They're
to?
feral.
They're feral, so
Yeah.
they are, that is adopted. So does the Humane Society work with those
No.
programs? No.
No.
It's
See-
a private people like you work with the barn cats.
Rescues work with them.
Rescues,
I think
okay.
other shelters work with them.
So our animal control could work with that.
Probably. But our animal control doesn't have control over cats unless they're sick or injured.
Right.
That's what I was referring
So,
to.
Right,
that's what
so-
I'm saying, and we get into all these issues.
Which I will go back and say, with that, I did hear of one of these cats that was caught was not healthy. And it did not get returned. I'll say it that way.
Okay. They do get shots, they get rabies shots, and they get a combination of other shots. I'm not sure what it is, but to answer the question earlier, they do get the rabies shots when they're returned.
And again, my point for being here is asking for the help to.
Jesse, you have a huge problem, and I don't
On how to help Mr. Jesse is look into the other 6 counties around us. If we have an influx of 48 years of not having cats, where are they all coming from? And if they're coming from other counties, I say we probably need to look into that.
But if they've got a clipped deer, that's a pretty good sign. They're
Yes.
in the Humane Society, and he's had pictures of
Yes.
some with clipped ears.
Yes,
So it's
and-
pretty much saying, a lot of them are coming from the Humane Society, but they weren't there previously. So
So
they're
say
not
if
being
you-
redropped where they were taken from. It's not
If you
that.
check into the Humane Society of how many we do a month or how many you do a year,
Right.
well,
We
then
need to
you look
know.
out and there's overpopulated area of cats.
Yes.
They gotta be coming from somewhere else.
Exactly.
So,
And again, I'm not.
Good point.
and we need to take care of that if that's the case.
Good point.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And again, I want to stress, I mean, I like animals. I mean, I had a stray cat come around years ago and it showed up as a young kitten. Well, a couple weeks later, I see it's pregnant. And then next thing you know, it's trying to have kittens and it can't. I got pictures, I pulled 2 kittens out of that cat and let her raise them there. Then I took all 5 kittens and 1 cat to a spay and neuter clinic and paid to get mom fixed. And everybody oohed and awed over the kittens. I called my wife on the way home, said, congratulations, I got rid of all the cats. And she says, good, I got a dog. Which is a Chiweenie, so it's a house dog. So anyway, yeah, I'm not against the animals. I just want to be able to raise a garden.
Same.
And you should be, and you should be able to.
Yes.
I'm jealous you got tomatoes and didn't get to eat them, but I couldn't grow a tomato this year for some reason.
I'm sorry, I did not.
I couldn't grow a tomato. I'm jealous that you could, but you couldn't eat them.
I have some if you'd like. They're actually cherry tomatoes and they look really good.
I'll pass.
Thank you, Jesse.
So I look forward to hearing. Thank you.
Master Cullen?
I don't want to, it's not fair for the court to ask Rachel to do stuff. I mean, I appreciate the time that she volunteers and what she does to try to mitigate the issue, but it's not fair for us just to say, hey, let's use her and not give her the resources she's asked for in the past. So I would say that the Animal Control Committee maybe needs to get together and figure out this as a team effort. You know, it is good when citizens come in and volunteer their time, but this is not something one person can do without a lot of resources, especially as you hear the issues that we have out there. So it's going to get to the point where it was before, when people were going to threaten to dump cows on the courthouse to get things fixed. They're going to start dumping cats around the courthouse.
There we go.
And we already have some.
Well, I agree, but I think in this
We're going
issue,
to ask.
she was asked to just give him the resource information.
Exactly.
We're not asking her to do anything other than give him
Numbers.
the barn cat resource information.
The deadline for submitting, especially the LOI, so, and we don't meet as an EDA till, is it next Monday or 2 Mondays from now? So we need to really get to work on that. The Animal Control Committee met on October 3rd to examine and discuss the proposal, which we've already heard about earlier, so I won't go into that. And then on October 3rd, I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Danville Bike and Footwear Shop, which is under new management and ownership. Had the opportunity to go in and check that out. And then I want to thank those who attended the Ragged Edge performance of Gone Gold Pond, which I was in, so thank you very much for that. A couple things that were handed to me at the last minute, actually emailed to me. I didn't see till this morning, but on October 22nd, there'll be a domestic violence program in Whizziger Park on at between 4:30 and 6:30, and then also the Shepherd's House homeless showers and clothes washing. Those times were sent to me as well. That from Monday through Friday, 12:30. Monday through Friday for the showers, and then Monday through Friday, 12 to 1:30 for the clothes washing. So just to make that public aware of that. So that's all I have.
Okay, IT Director Nichols has notified me that we are off the air. His computer has shut down. So we do have a recording here going. If we have to, we can possibly take it off of here and put it on. But we are off the air. And we are back up. Okay, so thank you, awesome Bill. Thank you, Master Sleeper. Master Dills.
Thank you, Judge. I just have to lead off with the performance, academic performance report from the state that just came out last week. Boyle County school system is #1 in its district and #6 overall for the entire Commonwealth of 172 districts. So kudos to the entire school system. You know, we some of us way back when and even now overly stress the athletic aspect of it, but our folks just perform at both levels, and it's just absolutely extraordinary. And they're preparing these young people for the future. I am so happy with the Department of Transportation's work over the past week on Horseshoe Bend, which I described last meeting as beyond dangerous. They have done a repair that's far more than I ever anticipated, and I hope it'll hold for many years to come. In contrast to that, I continue almost every other day to get concerns expressed about Perryville Road. I talked to the judge about it this morning, and I'm going to drop a line to the District 7 Chief, Kelly Baker, because this morning when I came out, my wife came to the door and I blew toward her because I could see my breath, which seems to be some kind of an indication about when they stop laying asphalt. So they have promised that they would do major patches, which I'm not very happy with, but they promised that before snow flies, and I will be sending an email out to Mr. Baker about that.
A reminder, perhaps.
Just a slight reminder, and yes. I mentioned Kinder Morgan last week, and I was thrilled that Mary Carter was here, and she followed up on my request to make mention to Congressman Comer. There is someone coming from Washington, D.C., and Mary Carter, that gentleman or lady, and I are going to meet perhaps with one or two other people. And anybody who would want to join us, we're going to be at the Hub on Friday at noon, because I dug out my entire old file on Kinder Morgan, and it's a circumstance that we need to monitor because of what I described last week about the potential dangers of 80-year-old pipelines being used for carcinogens to be pushed through by the hundreds of thousands of gallons. Portland Festival is this coming weekend. Thank you to everybody who came out to Perryville. We had an exciting and tremendous, we had a grand marshal, I believe she's sitting to my right, and wonderful parade and wonderful two-day program. I mentioned briefly last time that the judge and I and now Paula are looking into a potential Women's World Health Congress because of what Aoife McDowell did to save women's lives 205 or 6 years ago, and has happened with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women worldwide. And I think that we're going to get some, hopefully get some help from the state on putting that together. We're still working to try to seize the land back that we had 25 years ago surrounding Crawford, the Crawford House in Perryville. And Rick Series, please, the first time I came by on Stanford Road with that new walk across, are you familiar with what I'm talking about? Yes. There is a slab of concrete that's 2 of these tables wide and about 3 tables long, and it's a peculiar circumstance. It's for people crossing the road there, and rather than having the kind of crossing light that there is at Center College and other places, they stand in the middle of the road with too fast traffic moving in both directions. That's a concern to me, rather than doing the stoplight type of thing that we have at Center College. And I really wish that the city and the state would relook at that, because I wouldn't stand in the middle of that with traffic going too fast. And the other thing that I'm really concerned with is, one of the times when I went through there, it was nighttime. You cannot see that, especially if it's a driving rain like we've had recently. And as I came back through this morning after going to the convenience center, I noticed that that ellipse on neither side has any reflector, paint, or tape, which could be seen both daytime, but more critically, it would take somebody 15 or 20 minutes to go out there and paint that with reflector paint, so that people would see that berm of concrete is there, so that they don't hit it and go flying over the top of it, as some people did when they first opened up the roundabout. So that to me is a concern. Judge, I am through.
Thank you, Mr. Dillis. Appreciate it. Mr. Bodner?
the Junction City Elementary, the Jaguars, are ranked 26 out of 733 elementary schools in the state.
All right.
So it says Go Big Blue. Their overall rating is blue, reading and math blue, social science, social studies, and writing blue. So I'm real proud of Junction City Elementary. My granddaughter's stepmother, Brooke Grigsby, is one of the teachers that she posted that on there, and I was real proud of them. I have missed the last Junction City Matters meeting, but we're talking about Halloween and Christmas now while I was gone, so I don't have anything to really report, but they will have the Halloween on Halloween night, so, and that's coming up pretty rapidly.
Now, is that, you talking about trick or treat?
Trick or treat
On
is
Halloween night? Okay.
Yes, 5 to 7, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Master Harmon?
Have nothing. I'll hand on down to Jason. If he has anything.
Okay, Master Cullen.
Yeah, Tom, did you mention Forkland Festival?
I surely did.
Okay, I can make sure I didn't hear that. Make sure you got that out there. And I was at the Junction City Matters meeting the other day. It was a good meeting. It was an evening meeting. The group is so serious about Junction City mattering that they're going to have morning and evening meetings, which tells you
We
about
matter,
the
what can I say?
Yeah, of course, go ahead. Were you going to say something, Paul? I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
She's good.
Okay. Yeah, so it was good to be there. There are a lot of people that are interested, and the group is catering as much as they can to make sure, you know, everyone gets a chance to be part of revitalizing some of the stuff down in Junction, which is fantastic. And I don't really have anything else. I was at the meeting and went great, and looking forward to looking forward to Halloween. And then also as a group, we've got a couple of parades coming up that we need to help Julie and the judge with to make sure we get a float for the county fiscal court. And I'll participate in them, okay?
All right.
And isn't Junction City's chili cook-off the 19th?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
All right, thank you, Master Cullen. Safe travels. Thank you for teleconferencing. All right, Master Gay.
All right, so the Solid Waste Committee met on September 9th. Myself, Magistrate Sleeper, Angie Muncy. That was kind of in between our two big events, so she reported on the hazardous waste event with the overwhelming success of that, to the point that we needed more money than the grant allowed for the disposal of all the waste that was accumulated. So we're going to request some from the state. I have not heard what the result of that has been, but as Magistrate Cullen mentioned last time, getting all that type of material out of the waste stream, if you will, and disposing of it properly is worth that extra overage if needed. Then she mentioned at that time the upcoming tire event that she reported on this morning, which also has been a huge success to remove a lot of tires from where they lay in our community. So it's good to get those taken care of. Then we also did discuss the air curtain, and that I mentioned earlier, the committee does recommend the purchasing of the air curtain, provided that it can be split with the city of Danville. We have gotten word that has been approved. So I think, as we obviously had that discussion already, the exploration of that will continue, because it does seem to be a good alternative to our brush disposal issue that we have in this community. And a good portion of that brush does come from within the city of Danville limits, but as I like to say, we all live within the county of Boyle.
Never heard you say that before.
And so it's all of our issue. And then the last thing I would just like to ask is that in addition to, as we close, I hope we would adjourn in memory of the air evac team
Yeah.
that was lost tragically. And then I would also like to ask that we close in memory of Jeff Thornton, who is a community servant, and that is a loss to the community.
And I was gonna ask that we also adjourn in memory of Circuit Court Judge Jeff
Yes,
Dawson
I
as
could
well.
not remember if we had that already or not, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, so is that your motion to accept the solid waste committee
yes,
report?
yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for the report. Okay, County Attorney, do you have any comments? County Attorney, still with us?
Just want everyone to, pray for the hurricane victims and, pray that this Hurricane Milton is not as severe as what they're forecasting. The way they're talking now, it's going to be one of the worst ever. So I want to pray for everybody in those areas of Florida that could be affected by that. And the Forkland Festival, yes, it's coming up. And one thing that I really enjoy about the Forkland Festival, early on Saturday morning of the festival, they have that Fox and Hound race, which I really like because you run, but then they cook you sausage and pancakes. So I think that, people should take part in that. It's a lot of fun, and I've done that several times. Other than that, thank you for letting me appear via computer today.
Thank you.
And, wish everything well.
Safe travels. We appreciate you tuning in this morning. I'd also like to say that, some of our...
May I add, he didn't bring up something, I thought maybe he'd mention about the domestic violence homeless event, because the attorney's partial sponsor, but I neglected to share some of the details. May I do that at this point? Sure. It's Peace Begins at Home on October 22nd, 4:30 to 6:30 at Rizinger Park. There'll be resources, kids zone, food trucks, and speakers, and it's our county attorney is one of the sponsors of that, so I wanted to just point that out.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, and we're going to have a bouncy house that we're sponsoring for the children, so thank you, Steve.
We'll also have a proclamation for that at our next meeting. Okay, to his comment about the Forkland Festival, just in case some of you all don't know, we have employees that participate in that cooking. So our very own Roger Johnson is responsible for cooking those delicious soup beans that we eat before the play, and then he and his wife with others of our community members, but because he's our employee, I want to recognize him. They are assist in cooking the pancakes. So he's available to cook if you need. That's what my point is. All right, Julie, you have anything?
No, but I just want to say that we would not have a parking garage in a surgery center and the Hub Coffee Shop without Jeff Thornton. He was an integral part of that. I'm just shocked. Yep. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, I will close us out by saying the health fair, employee health fair is coming up on 10/18. So if you have not scheduled a time to participate in that, please see Shannon or Steve Sleep. Well, they can see either one of you. Shannon or Steve Sleeper. I mean Steve Griffin. Let's close it out. Steve Griffin, HR. That's right. That's right.
Location again?
Steve Sleeper will give you a time, but it may not work.
And location again, Judge?
That will be at the.
Yours will be midnight.
2 locations.
Fire station.
Fire station. Yes, thank you. I'm going back out to the EMS center, and it's not there anymore. County 1, Lebanon Road, fire station. Junction City Pancake Breakfast has done been mentioned. Next meeting, I will not be here. I will be in New Orleans attending a NATO conference, which is part of Bluegrass Ad. So I was asked, some of you may or may not know, I am the secretary for the Bluegrass Ad District now on the board. And I was asked if I would like to participate in that. It's the National Association of Development Organizations. So I think it's going to be a really good conference to attend. There's one day that we go out into the community and see different types of economic development that New Orleans has going on. So I think that'll be very interesting and see what, maybe we can apply somehow this way. So Judge Pro Tem Ellis will be presiding over the next meeting on 10/22, I believe. It's a great day. Yeah. And then we've already asked to adjourn in memory of the 3 people that we mentioned, so we can do that as well as part of the adjournment motion. Who would like to
Make that motion.
Okay, Magistrate Gay?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Bodner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
May I say something?
Sure.